What a beautiful place I have found myself in this morning. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. My name is Scott, and this is my YouTube channel, StaticCampervan. So today we are at Palmer's Point in Sue-Meg State Park. This is a California state park that's about 80 miles south of the Oregon state border. And being that this is Palmer's Point, means we've got good views all the way around. Of course, we've got this view back here, but also we've got an incredible view going out in the other direction as well. This is my first time here at Sue-Meg State Park. I have avoided it because I am a cheapskate. I normally don't like to pay for places that have an entrance fee. Yes, I admit it, openly admit it. But I went ahead and paid for it today, and I am happy that I did. It's only $8 for a day use fee here. There's camping here at this state park as well. Great place to come, I think, for the day, especially with views like this. What would make this even better, though, is a nice freshly made cup of coffee. So let's do that right now. I was kind of eyeing that picnic table back there, thinking that would be a good place to set up to make a cup of coffee, but with my back hatch here, I think this works too. And I have a nice comfortable spot to sit on and still have that view outside. There used to be a time where I would jump at the chance to set up my coffee making stuff outside somewhere and do it all outside, but nowadays I'm just old and lazy, and I would just prefer to do everything in my kitchen here that's already set up, and I don't have to shuffle around and move stuff around, because sometimes, I forget something and have to run back to the van, get it, take it back out to the picnic table. So this is just easier. As long as I've got a good view, which we have, I think this is the better way to do this. Since we're in a special place, I thought this should warrant a special cup of coffee, so I have got out my old pour-over brewer. This is made by a company called Hario. This is their V60 glass model coffee dripper, and I rarely use this. In fact, I don't remember the last time I've used this. It's been over a year, I think. But we're going to put it to good use today, and I am going to need my coffee scale and brew timer, which I have here, and we're going to use some really good local coffee that is roasted just a few miles away from here from a company called Fogline. So hopefully, if I do this right, because it's been a long time since I've used this V60 brewer, I should have a really spectacular cup to go along with the spectacular views. So there's a new video from a coffee channel here on YouTube that I watched where he talks about what he calls the Zen coffee method of making coffee. So I'm going to try that, and there's a couple little steps I have to follow for that. One is that I need to make my grind size a little bit coarser. So I have this hand grinder, so I can do that. I can just reset the grind size pretty easily. So I'm going to have to kind of guess on that a little bit, but I normally do a pretty tight grind size, really small grind size, so just make sure I open that up. And then he says to use 15 grams of coffee with 240 grams of water, so that's why I need my little scale, because I'm going to time this as well as weigh out both the coffee itself and the water to make up the coffee here that I'm going to be drinking. We'll see how this goes. This is why I bought this little fancy brew scale and timer, is so that I could try different recipes like this, but this is the first time I'm actually trying something like this, even though I've had this scale for almost a year now, I think. The wind is blowing everything around. It's going to make this a little bit harder. I'm trying to learn as I go and dealing with the wind. Right after I bought this brew scale, those several months back, almost a year ago. I had a little health issue and was not feeling very good, and wasn't drinking a whole lot of coffee. Part of all that was all together, but now that I am feeling a little bit better, I'm getting back to actually trying to use the scale. I guess using it for the first time as was the reason I wanted to try this scale, buy the scale and try it out. There's all these little extra ways of making coffee that seem like they would be fun, and you know, coffee is my hobby. So I've been wanting to do this, but now I'm just finally getting back to this. So let's see how this goes. I may not actually like doing fancy coffee this way. Normally I use an AeroPress, which is this little thing, and it's so easy. Just doesn't take any effort whatsoever, and it always makes a really good cup, even if I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing. So we'll see if I actually like using all the features on this brew scale, but we're going to try it out here today. So there were some specifics, even though he called this the Zen method, there were some specifics to how to use this. So I'm trying to remember. I think I'm just going to wing it here and see if I can figure this out as I go. I'll have to rewatch that video later. I know I'm aiming for 240 grams of water. So we'll see if I can actually hit that. The problem with the scale is it's not very accurate. It bumps around, jumps around quite a bit. So I think if I'd have bought a more fancy scale, this might be easier. So that may be another little factor going on here. If I've got kind of cheap equipment, of course it's not going to be quite so easy, and maybe not quite so Zen-like. Well, I think I just got a little too antsy there, and I overshot the water about 4 grams, which is not a whole lot, as a gram is very, very small measurement there. So I think we'll be okay. And it looks like timing-wise, at least if I remember the video, timing-wise I'm right on. So let's see what this tastes like. It doesn't make very much coffee. This is a tiny mug, and it's only half full, so not a whole lot of coffee, but I guess that's a good thing because I can make several attempts at this without drinking too much coffee. It smells good. Actually, that tastes really good. I'm surprised. I just remembered one of the big advantages with using one of these V60 pour-over brewers. To clean it out, you just pull the filter out with the grounds all in there and toss it away. And that's done. I usually just give the brewer itself a quick rinse, and that's about it. As far as cleanup goes, the cleanup for the AeroPress is pretty easy too, but that's even easier, I think. Now let me get some half and half so I can really enjoy this cup of coffee. And to add to my coffee enjoyment, let's go out to that bench out there because I think it has the best view. Hey, this view is pretty good. The only problem is if I sit on the bench, I've got some weeds that will obstruct my view. But that's all right. We've got this little railing here I can use as my table and take in this view a little bit. Well, I've got to give some credits to the Coffee Chronicler. That is the YouTube channel that came up with this recipe. This is fantastic. It is the best and easiest V60 pour-over brewer method I have ever used. So maybe I will keep using this and start using my V60 a little bit more. The one issue with this is it makes an awfully small cup of coffee, so I would probably double this recipe and try it again. But it's encouraging because I've been carrying around that V60 all these years now and hardly have used it at all. Maybe I'll actually start using it now, especially considering how easy it cleans up. Well, this is a great spot, Patrick's Point here, but there is one thing you need to know. The access to the beach here is closed. I was just reading the sign here that they have up. Apparently it's been closed since the beginning of the year, and it doesn't look like they're planning on reopening it. I guess it's due to some beach erosion. So I've heard that the trail down to the beach is pretty steep. So I'm guessing that they've just done it for safety reasons. That doesn't really bother me so much. I came out here for the view, which we've got incredible views. But if you did want to do some walking and hiking, especially down to the ocean, they told me when I came in that Agate's Beach, which is on the north side of the park, is still open, and it's the place to go if you want to get down to the beach. This is suiting me just fine, though. I left all my coffee gear out thinking I'd want another cup of coffee, but I think I should probably have a little bit of food first, so I guess I'll put this away and make a little bit of something. And I'm thinking I'll have something I haven't had in quite a while, a grilled cheese sandwich. I have not been eating a lot of grilled cheese lately, but I've gotten a little bit of a craving for it recently, partly because I've got some of this really good sourdough bread. This is a French sourdough made by the local co-op, and when I can get it and it's actually fresh, which has been kind of a problem lately, but when I can get it and when it's fresh, it makes just incredible grilled cheese sandwiches. So I think that's probably why I'm craving the grilled cheese at the moment. Oh, and this is the other problem I have with this bread. A lot of times it's got huge holes in it. Can I dig through and find one that doesn't? If I use this one, I'll just lose half of my cheese out. That's disappointing. Let's see, this one's not quite so bad. I think grilled cheese is really easy. You just buy the best bread you can get your hands on, the best butter you can get your hands on, and the best cheese you can get your hands on, and you end up having a really good grilled cheese sandwich that way. And I think the only other trick to a really good grilled cheese sandwich is to cook it at a very low temperature, and then to make it a little bit better, you can sprinkle over some Parmesan cheese if you've got it, only the real stuff, and then cook that in. I'll just add a little bit of extra crunch and a little bit of extra flavor. I'll do this to both sides. And that should be it. Oh yeah, nice and hot, nice and crispy. Cheese is melted through. That's about as good as a grilled cheese sandwich can get, for me anyway. Oh, actually, let's go sit on that picnic bench. This is the right time to be outside. I think I want another Zen cup of coffee because it's fitting for this area. It's kind of a Zen, peaceful place out here, so it's fitting to have another cup of Zen coffee. And also, I really only had that half of a cup of coffee. I think, though, I'm just going to make another coffee just the way the recipe called for, because I'm not quite sure if I double it, if it'll come out the same. So I think I'll just make another half a cup. And then after that, I'll probably make another half a cup. And another half a cup. We've got a long ways to go today, and lots of Zen to enjoy here. So I made one little change here. I think the grind size I had on the first cup was just a little bit too big, so I tightened that up. Just knocked the grind size down just a touch, and I'm gonna see if that changes anything. I think the other one was lacking just a little bit of flavor, although it was very good. So curious to see if there will be any changes in this cup. That small change in the grind size really changed the brew time. So it brewed a lot longer, which I think according to the recipe is not a good thing. So I'm not sure that was a good move to make the grind a little bit smaller. I should just mention that I get a lot of questions about this grinder that I use. This is a hand grinder made by a very small company called Storesso. So if you're curious about that, I do have a video review on this. I've had it now for I think 3.5 years, and I've been really happy with this. The thing is, I'm not recommending you to buy it because I don't think it's for sale anymore. Storesso still is around, and they make a few different products. But they seem to stop making the hand grinder. They've switched to making one that is electric grinder. It's actually battery powered. The idea that you can take it with you and grind on the go, which I think is kind of silly because I don't find a use for an electric grinder to begin with. And then having something that's battery powered to me is just another complication to deal with. Where this thing's just been rock solid. I mean, there hasn't been much of an issue with it, other than the little pommel falls off. I think there used to be a little retaining clip. I guess there still is a retaining clip on there, but that falls off if I put this upside down. So there's one little drawback with this. That's it. That's the only thing that I can really be nitpicky about this grinder. I've been really happy with it. So it's kind of irritating to me that they had what seems to be like the almost perfect grinder, and then they stopped making it. But I think that's more a reflection on the market. I think most people nowadays want an electric battery powered grinder. I'm just the oddball out. Okay, so I've added some half and half to this one, and I think the verdict is the way I had it before, following the recipe a little bit more precisely, is better if you want to drink your coffee just black. This one does have more flavor and is probably better if I'm adding half and half or some kind of cream to my coffee. So I think actually the original recipe is better, so I'll go back to doing it that way. And maybe next time I'll double it and see what happens. But this is still a very good cup. And since I really feel like I've only had half of a cup of coffee all day, I appreciate the extra boost in flavor of this one. I guess though I only have had half a cup of coffee all day, this makes one full cup of coffee all day for me. I'm way behind, way behind. Oh, this place is so peaceful. I laid back just to listen to the nice sounds of nature going on out there, and I fell asleep for a little over an hour. I can't believe I just had an hour-long nap. I am awake now, though. I think I'm awake. I could be dreaming. I think I'm awake now. That wasn't the plan, to drive out here, pay $8 and sleep in a parking lot. Although there's worse things I could have spent my day doing, I guess. But I did have a couple of little projects I wanted to do, so maybe I will force myself to fully wake up and get to one of those projects. So generally I wouldn't do any work on my van in a state or federal park. It's usually not allowed. They usually frown on us doing any work like that in this type of setting, which is totally understandable. But in this case, I'm not going to be making any mess or any noise. So I think I'm just going to do this here. I started a project a few days ago where I tried to get electrical line ran from my solar electrical panel in the back of the van here up to the front of the van to power my dash cam. But the little power port I was going to use broke, mysteriously broke, so I had to order a new part, and this is the part that I bought to replace it. Now they do sell power taps specifically made to power dash cams, but the one that was sold for my particular dash cam was about 40 bucks. This was about $10, and it's going to be a little easier for me to install because I don't need to hook this up to my car's electrical system. I just need to hook it up to my solar electrical system, which is just 12 volts. That's all it is. So I've just got 2 wires to hook up. So I just need to splice 2 wires onto here, and that's it for the job. Oh, this is going to be easier than I anticipated. This is the wire that I ran a few days ago, and I just got to connect these 2 leads with the 2 leads onto the new charger, and then of course the new charger has a USB-A output that I'll be able to plug into the wire that came with my dash cam. But what's going to make this extra easy is I have some of these lever wire connectors I bought at Harbor Freight. I totally forgot that I bought these the last time I was in Harbor Freight. I needed something else, and I thought I'll just buy these and hold on to them in case I need them in the future. These are a knockoff of a much more expensive German branded wire connector called Vagos or Wago. And you just open up the little tabs on these here, stuff the wire in, close the tab down, and it makes a really good connection. So before, I was thinking I was going to have to get out my crimpers and my heat shrink tubing and all that. I don't need to do that. I just do this simply with these little connectors. Except I just made my job a whole lot harder because I dropped the whole box of connectors on the ground. Nothing can be easy, can it? This part's easy. Now I got to play 52 pickup. Okay, I just picked up the pieces of my life and plugged in those other wires that I needed to, and then now I just need to pop back in the fuse to get that circuit going, and we'll see how this goes, if it actually works. Let's hope so. And success, it works. I am so happy. I've been trying to get this finished off for the last several days here. Had to order the parts, so that slowed me down a little bit. But this is great because, number one, I now have a little bit more safety and security, being that this dash cam is running 24/7. And this dash cam has an app that I have on my phone, so if I ever want to see what's going on with it, or if I ever want to save some of the video that it's been taking onto my phone, I can do that quite easily with the app. So kind of now it's set and working the way that I wanted it to work the whole time. It only took me 3-4 months to get this, maybe 5 months to get this finished off. But another thing that I like about this is I've been powering it on this little 12 volts adapter, and I don't like these. I had one of these that got really hot. This was years ago. It was probably almost 10 years ago that I was running something off of one of these in my old van, and it was so hot that the plastic of it felt like it would burn me. I don't know how the plastic was staying intact, actually. It got really soft. And so ever since then, I've not really wanted to use these. I've just been using it because it was the only way for me to get power to the dash cam, up until now anyway. It's nice to get little projects done. I've been trying to get simple things finished off here and there. I don't have anything real big that needs to be done, but just little tiny things, and if I can just knock them out here and there, it makes me very, very happy. So that's why I'm kind of jumping up and down here. I do have some other things to get to. The van itself, of course, is pretty good, but on the way up here, I've had another, I think it's a tire sensor fail. I've replaced 3 of them already. 2 of them I think I did about 2 months ago, and then now I've got another one that's bad. There's just always something when you own a vehicle. There's just always something to be taken care of, fixed, maintained. It's just a never-ending thing. But on the flip side of that, this van has been very good. Not had really much trouble at all with it, and getting out to places like this makes all the little, tiny little things I've had to deal with totally worth it, of course. I've been drinking plenty of coffee today, but not enough water, so I think I'm going to get my little special water going. A while back, I got a craving for some water that I had years ago, and I asked everybody if they remembered the name of it. I just described what the bottle looked like. It was mint-flavored water, and several people remembered it was called Metro Mint, and that was it. Metro Mint water. It hasn't been for sale for years. And I guess there's some other types that are kind of similar to it. Hint water. I don't happen to like hint water at all, but I guess it's kind of similar. But I've just been making my own. So I have this water bottle that I bought just to have as a water bottle for this mint water. And then I went to the natural food store. There's one here in town called Eureka Natural Foods, and they've got organic peppermint extract. So if you were making ice cream or cookies or something, this is what you might use. So I use just a tiny bit of this. And what I figured out is that less is more when it comes to this. It's surprisingly strong, and if I put a little too much of the mint extract in, then it doesn't taste good at all. So just a tiny little bit. I fill this bottle up full of water, and that's it. It is not quite like Metro Mint, but it's pretty close, and it gets me drinking more water. So it's all good, and easy. You can do it yourself if you're interested. I really like it. It's very refreshing, especially on the warmer days. I know I said this morning that I don't like to pay day use fees, but I don't mind it if it's a nice place like this and it's worth the day use fee. A lot of times I go to parks that I pay the day use fee and I'm sorry that I did. That's certainly not the case here. I think it's well worth the $8. So I just want to point that out. I'm cheap when I need to be cheap, but when I get value for what I'm paying for, I certainly don't mind spending the money. My coffee, for instance, I usually spend a lot of money on coffee and food in general. As long as it's good stuff, I don't mind paying for it. And here, I am very glad to have paid the $8 to get the chance to hang out here for the day. Well, this has been great. This spot was recommended to me by a Patreon supporter, so if you're watching this, thank you very much. This is exactly the kind of place I've been looking for the last several months. Someplace that I have a nice view out. Hopefully, I'll be able to get back to walking around and hiking around a little bit in the near future, but until my health improves, this is kind of the best I can do, and this is pretty darn nice. So I am very happy to have spent the day out here. I forgot to check how long I could stay here. I do this all the time because I usually don't do any research when I go to a place. Of course, I've known about this place forever, but I just didn't look into it at all. And the one drawback here is there is limited cell service. I've got just a blip of cell service, but not much. So can't really check on things. So I guess there's always a little bit of a drawback, but I think having limited cell service is not a huge one, at least from time to time. So this has been absolutely delightful, but I think I'm going to call it a day and get back to civilization. So thanks for hanging out with me today, and thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.